So the last one's here on homework day 2, dividing rational expressions involving quadratics with a leading coefficient of 1. I'm dividing two expressions, and when I divide expressions I have to invert and multiply. So I change this problem to x squared minus 1 over x squared plus x minus 6 times the reciprocal 3x plus 9 over x minus 1. Again, when we're multiplying fractions, we can cancel out the common factors, which tells me I want to factor this out first. So factoring the top of that, I'm going to have x plus 1 and x minus 1, because I can see that's the difference of perfect squares. On the bottom, I'm going to factor that. X and x, since the end is a negative, a plus and a minus. Factors of 6, I want a positive 1, so I need a plus 3 and a minus 2. 3 minus 2 is plus 1. The top of that next fraction, I have a greatest common factor of 3. If I divide both those terms by 3, I get x plus 3. Bottom, it's not a squared one. It doesn't have a greatest common factor, so I just have to leave it as x minus 1. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel out my common factors as long as one is on the top and one is on the bottom. I can cancel out the x minus 1s. I can cancel out the x plus 3s. So on top, I'm going to have 3 times x plus 1. And on the bottom, I just have the x minus 2. Now I could have put the 3 behind the x plus 1. It just looks prettier in front. And so that's where I left that. Number 29, same kind of thing. I'm dividing fractions. I know that when I divide fractions I have to invert and multiply. So x squared minus 4 over 4x plus 4 times the reciprocal x plus 1 over x squared plus x minus 2. Then I'm going to go ahead and do my factoring. Again, this is the difference of perfect squares. X and x, 2 and 2, x plus 2 and x minus 2 is how that's going to factor out. On the bottom, it's not a squared one. I look for my greatest common factor, which is 4. So if I divide those both by 4, I get 4 times x plus 1. Remember, 4 divided by 4, I can't just say it cancels. There's a 1 there. 4 divided by 4 is 1. The x plus 1 I can't factor. But the quadratic expression I can, x and x. The end is negative, so a plus and a minus. Factors of 2, I want a positive 1, so a plus 2 and a minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1 in the middle. And so canceling out my common factors, I've got an x plus 1 I can cancel out, and an x plus 2 I can cancel out. So on the top I have x minus 2. And on the bottom, 4 times x minus 1. And number 30, the last one, same kind of thing. I have x squared minus 3x plus 2 divided by x minus, or over x minus 3. I'm dividing, so I'm going to invert and multiply. The 3x minus 9 is going to go on top. And the x squared minus 4 are going to go on the bottom. So factoring that out, the top of that first expression, x and x, the end is positive, so both are the same as the middle, a negative and a negative. Factors of 2 that add up to 3, 2 and 1. Negative 2 and a negative 1 is the negative 3 in the middle. On the bottom, we just have that x minus 3, can't do much with that. Top of the next fraction, my greatest common factor there, I can take a 3 out of there, which leaves me an x minus 3. And the bottom, difference of perfect squares, so x plus 2 and x minus 2 when I factor that one out. So taking out my common factors, I can take out the x minus 3, I can take out the x minus 2. So I have 3 times x minus 1. And on the bottom, x plus 2. And that's the end of homework day 2.